Look again at that dot. That's here, that's home, that's us. When Carl Sagan spoke those words in 1990, he was describing a photograph taken from 6.4 billion kilometers away, a photograph that would forever change how we see ourselves. The Voyager 1 spacecraft, at Sagan's urging, turned its camera back toward Earth one final time before leaving our solar system. What it captured was a single pixel of light, barely visible against the vastness of space. Our entire world, reduced to less than a pinprick in the cosmic ocean. Now, 35 years later, something extraordinary has happened. An object designated 3I/Atlas is passing through our solar system at velocities that make our fastest rockets appear nearly motionless. It is traveling at roughly 100,000 kilometers per hour, carrying with it the chemistry of another star system, perhaps another planetary nursery billions of years old. This visitor from the depths of interstellar space offers us something precious, something Sagan spent his life trying to give us: perspective. Sagan believed we are a way for the cosmos to know itself. If you want to continue his mission of cosmic exploration, join this journey. What would Sagan have seen in this visitor from the stars? The answer reveals something profound about our place in the universe and our responsibility to the only home we have ever known. The facts about 3I/Atlas are remarkable in their own right. Discovered in January 2025 by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, this object immediately stood out. Its velocity told astronomers something astonishing. It was not bound to our Sun. Its orbital eccentricity exceeds 1, meaning its path is hyperbolic. It entered our solar system from interstellar space, and it will leave our solar system, continuing a journey that began long before our species existed. Spectroscopic analysis from both ground-based telescopes and the James Webb Space Telescope has revealed that 3I/Atlas contains ices and organic compounds, materials that formed in the disk of gas and dust around another star. Think about that for a moment. The molecules in this object coalesced in a stellar nursery we have never seen, orbiting a sun whose light may take thousands of years to reach us. This visitor carries within it a sample of cosmic chemistry from a completely different corner of our galaxy. It is the third confirmed interstellar object we have detected passing through our solar system. The first, 1I/Oumuamua, arrived in 2017. The second, 2I/Borisov, followed in 2019. Each of these visitors has taught us something essential. Interstellar space is not empty. Objects wander between the stars, refugees from their home systems, traveling for millions or billions of years through the void. Consider this through Sagan's cosmic calendar, his elegant way of making deep time comprehensible. If we compress the entire 13.8 billion-year history of the universe into a single year, with the Big Bang occurring at midnight on January 1st, then the formation of 3I/Atlas's home star system might have occurred sometime in late August or September. Human beings appeared on December 31st at 10:30 in the evening. The entire span of recorded human history occupies the last 10 seconds before midnight, and yet 3I/Atlas has been traveling, perhaps for the cosmic equivalent of weeks or months in this compressed timeline, through space so empty that an atom of hydrogen might be the only company for billions of kilometers. Sagan understood the physics of such journeys. In his book Cosmos, he wrote extensively about the distances between stars, about how even at the speed of light, the nearest stellar systems are years away. 3I/Atlas is not traveling at the speed of light. It is traveling at a tiny fraction of that speed, and yet it crossed the incomprehensible gulf between star systems. The mathematics reveal a patience that defies human imagination. What makes this scientifically significant extends far beyond the object itself. Every interstellar visitor teaches us about galactic dynamics, about how planetary systems form and evolve, about the probability that materials from one star system can reach another. Some scientists theorize that the building blocks of life itself might travel between worlds, a concept called panspermia, that Sagan took seriously as a hypothesis worth investigating. The trajectory of 3I/Atlas tells us it was likely ejected from its home system during the chaotic early period of planetary formation. When giant planets form and migrate, They scatter smaller objects like cosmic billiard balls. Some fall into their star, some settle into stable orbits, and some, like 3I/Atlas, are flung outward with enough velocity to escape their sun's gravity entirely. These cosmic exiles then drift through the galaxy until, very occasionally, they pass close enough to another star system for us to observe them. The truly remarkable part comes when we consider probability. Astronomers estimate that there could be trillions of these interstellar objects wandering through our galaxy at any given moment. The space between stars is so vast, however, that detecting them is extraordinarily difficult. They reflect very little light. They move quickly through our telescope's fields of view. We only began to have the technology to spot them reliably in the last decade. What we are witnessing with 3I/Atlas is not an anomaly. It is our first glimpses of a galactic ecosystem we are only beginning to understand. When Sagan convinced NASA to turn Voyager's camera back toward Earth, many engineers resisted. The spacecraft was leaving the solar system. Its cameras would soon be shut down to conserve power. Why waste time and resources on what some considered a publicity stunt? Sagan understood something they initially missed. That photograph would not advance planetary science in any technical sense, but it would advance something equally important: our wisdom about our place in the cosmos. In his book Pale Blue Dot, published in 1994, Sagan reflected on that photograph with words that have echoed across the decades. Everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. He went on to observe that there is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. Sagan's philosophy was not about making us feel insignificant. It was about perspective, about humility, about recognizing that all our petty differences, our wars, our cruelties, our self-importance, play out on that tiny pixel of light, lost in the cosmic dark. The pale blue dot perspective was his antidote to hubris, his call for compassion, his reminder that we must care for one another and for the only home we have ever known. How would Sagan have thought about 3I/Atlas through this lens? The object embodies everything he taught about cosmic perspective. Here is a visitor that has journeyed for perhaps millions or billions of years. It has traveled distances that would take our fastest spacecraft tens of thousands of years to cross. It has moved through the galaxy, through clouds of interstellar gas, perhaps passing other stars, certainly experiencing the gravitational whispers of countless unseen masses. And now, for a brief moment in cosmic time, it is passing through our little corner of space. From the perspective of 3I/Atlas, if such an object could have perspective, Earth is exactly what Sagan described, a pale blue dot. When this visitor entered our solar system, traveling from the direction of the constellation Lyra, it saw our sun as just another star in the sky. Earth, even if its trajectory brought it relatively close in astronomical terms, would have been invisible. An infinitesimal speck orbiting an ordinary star. Sagan applied extraordinary rigor to extraordinary claims. His most famous aphorism, "Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence," should guide how we think about 3I/Atlas. Online, you will find speculation about this object. Some suggest it might be artificial, a probe or vessel from another civilization. Some claim it is transmitting signals. Some believe governments are hiding information about its true nature. What does the evidence actually show? Every observation of 3I/Atlas is consistent with it being a natural object, a comet or asteroid-like body ejected from another planetary system. Its spectrum shows water ice, carbon dioxide ice, and organic compounds, all of which are common in comets throughout our own solar system. No signals have been detected, no unusual behavior has been observed. It is moving exactly as Newtonian mechanics predicts an object with its velocity and trajectory should move. This does not make 3I/Atlas less remarkable. It makes it more so. The universe does not need artificial explanations to be awe-inspiring. Natural processes, operating over billions of years, following the elegant mathematics of gravity and motion, created this object and sent it on its journey. That is the wonder. That is what Sagan would want us to understand. Sagan spent much of his career thinking about the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. He co-founded the Planetary Society partly to support SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. He understood that the universe is so vast, so ancient, that somewhere among the billions upon billions of stars, life has almost certainly emerged elsewhere. He also understood that detecting that life, or having it detect us, faces challenges so immense that we may remain isolated for a very long time, perhaps forever. The Fermi paradox, named for physicist Enrico Fermi, asks, if the universe is so vast and so old, where is everybody? If intelligent civilizations are common, why haven't we seen evidence of them? Why hasn't someone visited? Sagan grappled with this question. He understood that interstellar distances are so enormous that even civilizations far more advanced than ours would find crossing between stars extraordinarily difficult. Objects like 3I/Atlas illustrate the challenge. Even though this visitor is moving at 100,000 kilometers per hour, fast by human standards, it would still take over 70,000 years to travel the distance from our Sun to the nearest star, Proxima Centauri. Any civilization hoping to explore the galaxy through physical travel would need patience measured not in centuries, but in millions or billions of years. Perhaps that is why we have not met anyone. Perhaps interstellar civilizations communicate, if at all, through signals traveling at the speed of light, not through vessels traveling through the depths of space. What 3I/Atlas teaches us about cosmic loneliness and cosmic connection is subtle. On one hand, this object traveled alone for an unimaginable span of time, through emptiness so complete that encountering anything would be remarkable. It reminds us that space is, above all else, space. Vast separations, profound silence. On the other hand, the mere fact that we can detect it, study it, learn from it, tells us we are connected. The materials in this object and the materials in our bodies were forged in stellar furnaces. We are, as Sagan loved to say, made of star stuff. This visitor from another star system is made of the same fundamental elements, following the same physical laws, shaped by the same forces that shaped us. Sagan's insight about this, the deepest insight that runs through all his work, is that we are not separate from the cosmos. We are the cosmos made conscious, at least in this tiny corner of space and time. Our ability to study 3I/Atlas, to calculate its trajectory, to analyze its composition, to imagine its origin and future, is the universe's way of knowing itself. That knowledge carries responsibility. Where does 3I/Atlas fit in our growing catalogue of interstellar objects? When Sagan died in December 1996, we had not yet confirmed a single object from beyond our solar system passing through our neighborhood. He predicted they would exist, based on our understanding of planetary formation, but we lacked the telescopes and the systematic sky surveys to find them. Now, in 2025, we have confirmed 3, and astronomers believe we will detect more as our instruments improve and our surveys become more comprehensive. The discovery of these interstellar visitors represents a new era in astronomy, one Sagan would have celebrated. We are no longer confined to studying only those objects gravitationally bound to our Sun. We can sample from a distance materials from other stellar systems. We can test our theories of how planets form across different environments. We can measure the composition of interstellar ices and ask whether they differ systematically from the ices in our own cometary populations. Technologies Sagan dreamed about, that he advocated for, have made these discoveries possible. The James Webb Space Telescope, launched in 2021, can analyze the spectra of distant objects with unprecedented precision. Automated sky survey programs scan the heavens continuously, alert to anything that moves or changes. Computer algorithms can process vast quantities of data, identifying candidates for follow-up observation. The scientific infrastructure Sagan championed, that he fought for funding and public support to build, is now revealing the cosmos in ways he hoped but could not live to see. The statistical likelihood of detecting more interstellar objects is high. Some astronomers estimate that at any given time, there might be one or more such visitors within the orbit of Jupiter. Most pass unnoticed. They are too faint, too fast, or positioned in parts of the sky we are not currently surveying, As our detection capabilities improve, the rate of discovery will increase. Within a decade, we might catalogue dozens or even hundreds of these galactic wanderers. What does this proliferation of interstellar visitors tell us about the galactic ecology, about the environment between stars? It tells us that planetary systems are messy, violent places during their formation. It tells us that ejecting material into interstellar space is common, not rare. It tells us that the galaxy has been exchanging materials between star systems for billions of years. Trace that implication far enough, and you arrive at a humbling conclusion. Some tiny fraction of the material in our own solar system might have originated elsewhere. Some molecules on Earth might have begun their existence in another star's planetary disk. Sagan was also passionate about Earth's environment, about the dangers of nuclear war and climate change. The pale blue dot perspective was not just an intellectual exercise for him, it was a call to action. "Look again at that dot," he wrote. "That's here, that's home, that's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam." Sagan's environmental message, inseparable from his cosmic perspective, emphasized that Earth is the only world we know that harbors life. In the vastness around us, we have found no evidence yet of life elsewhere, though we continue to search. This makes our planet precious beyond measure. It makes the preservation of our biosphere, the protection of the complex web of life that has evolved here over billions of years, a moral imperative. What does 3I/Atlas's journey teach us about our own planet? It teaches us about fragility and chance. This object was flung from its home system, exiled forever from the star that gave it birth. It will never return. It wanders the galaxy, gradually losing volatiles, slowly wearing away. Perhaps in its original system, if planets formed and if life emerged, someone might wonder what became of the countless small bodies scattered to the interstellar winds during the violent youth of their solar system. We have not been scattered. We orbit a stable, long-lived star. Our planet formed in the habitable zone, at just the right distance for liquid water to persist on its surface. Our sun is not too large or too small, not too young or too old. We have a large moon that stabilizes our axial tilt, preventing extreme climate swings. We have Jupiter, whose massive gravity sweeps up or deflects many potential impactors. We have, in short, won a cosmic lottery of improbable circumstance. Sagan would remind us that this luck carries responsibility. "We must preserve and cherish the pale blue dot," he wrote, "the only home we've ever known. That cherishing includes addressing climate change, preventing nuclear war, protecting biodiversity, and recognizing that our planet's boundaries are the boundaries we must live within. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, for our species to go. The nearest potentially habitable exoplanets are light years away. We are committed to Earth. The arrival of 3I/Atlas is not a threat. It poses no danger to our planet. Its closest approach to Earth remains many millions of kilometers distant, well beyond the orbit of Mars. No collision is possible. No gravitational disturbance will affect us. This visitor will pass through our solar system and continue on its journey, perhaps eventually drifting so far from any star that it becomes truly isolated in the dark between galaxies. What this arrival offers instead is perspective, the very gift Sagan tried to give us. We are witness to the cosmos in motion, to processes that operate on scales of space and time that humble human imagination. We are seeing evidence of our connection to the broader galaxy, proof that materials and objects travel between stars, that our solar system is not isolated, but part of a vast exchange that has been occurring since galaxies first formed. Sagan taught us to think in terms of deep time, to appreciate that the universe is not static but evolving, that every moment connects to everything that came before and everything that will come after. When we observe 3i/Atlas, we are not just looking at an object, we are looking at a history that stretches back millions or billions of years to the formation of another star, to the coalescence of its planetary disk, to the gravitational chaos that flung this object outward. We are looking at a future that will carry this visitor far beyond our sight, perhaps into regions of space where starlight is so faint that the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang itself, provides more illumination than any sun. The synthesis of what we know about 3i/Atlas combines factual observation with philosophical meaning. Factually, this is a small, icy body, probably between 1 and 10 kilometers in diameter, composed of materials common in comet-like objects. It was ejected from another planetary system. It has traveled through interstellar space for an immense span of time. It is now passing through our solar system, visible to our telescopes for a relatively brief period. It will continue onward, accelerating slightly as it passes the Sun, then slowing again as it climbs out of our Sun's gravitational well. Symbolically, 3i/Atlas represents everything Sagan taught about cosmic perspective. It embodies vast scales of distance and time. It demonstrates our connection to the broader galaxy. It reminds us of our place as observers of and participants in cosmic evolution. It illustrates both our insignificance, we are so small compared to the stage on which this object acts, and our significance, we are the part of the universe capable of understanding and appreciating what we observe. Sagan's legacy lives in every person who looks up at the night sky with wonder and curiosity. He made science accessible, not by simplifying it to the point of inaccuracy, but by revealing the poetry inherent in the cosmos itself. He trusted that the universe, honestly described, would inspire awe. He was right. The real cosmos, understood through science, is more beautiful, more strange, more wonderful than any fiction. We continue his mission by learning, questioning, and sharing knowledge. The Planetary Society, which Sagan co-founded with Bruce Murray and Lewis Friedman, continues to support projects searching for life beyond Earth, advocating for space exploration, and educating the public about planetary science. Organizations worldwide, inspired by Sagan's vision, work to make science accessible to everyone. Amateur astronomers, educators, writers, and artists carry forward the mission of creating cosmic perspective. Taking responsibility for Earth, as Sagan urged, means recognizing that scientific understanding must inform our decisions. Climate science, ecology, and planetary science all tell us that Earth's environment is changing in ways that threaten the stability of the systems we depend on. Sagan warned about this in the 1980s and 1990s. He understood that a species capable of affecting its planet's atmosphere and climate has a responsibility to use that power wisely. Being a way for the cosmos to know itself, perhaps Sagan's most elegant phrase, means recognizing that consciousness is rare and precious. We do not know how common life is in the universe. We do not know how often life becomes complex, or how often complex life develops intelligence, or how often intelligence develops technology capable of studying the cosmos. We might be common, we might be rare, we might be unique, though Sagan doubted that last possibility. What we know for certain is that here on Earth the universe has become conscious of itself, and that consciousness must not be squandered. So when you look at the trajectory of 3i/Atlas, when you consider its journey from a planetary system billions of kilometers away across the incomprehensible emptiness between stars, to its brief passage through our solar system, remember Sagan's words. Consider the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe, are challenged by this point of pale light. Sagan understood that cosmic perspective does not diminish us. It elevates us, it frees us from the tyranny of believing we are all there is. It connects us to something infinitely larger. It demands that we act with wisdom, compassion, and foresight. 3i/Atlas will continue its journey. In a few years, it will be beyond Neptune, heading back into interstellar space. In a few decades, it will pass the boundary where the sun's influence gives way to the interstellar medium. In a few centuries, it will be so distant that if anyone were riding along with it, our sun would appear as just another star in the sky. In a few millennia, it will have traveled farther from us than we can easily imagine. Its journey continues, patient and inexorable, through the galaxy. Our journey continues as well. We orbit our sun on a planet that for now sustains us. We have the capacity to understand our place in the cosmos, to study objects like 3i/Atlas, to search for life beyond Earth, to explore our solar system and perhaps someday beyond. We also have the capacity to destroy ourselves through nuclear weapons, through environmental collapse, through willful ignorance. Sagan understood both capacities. He advocated for choosing wisdom. The pale blue dot perspective that Sagan gave us through that single photograph from Voyager, and that 3i/Atlas now reinforces through its passage, is ultimately a message of hope tempered by responsibility. We are connected to the cosmos. We are part of the story that began 13.8 billion years ago with the Big Bang and continues through the formation of galaxies, stars, and planets. We are remarkable not despite our smallness, but because of what we have achieved despite our smallness. We have learned to read the book of nature, written in the language of mathematics, as Galileo said. We have sent our instruments to other worlds. We have looked back at ourselves from 6 billion kilometers away and seen ourselves truly. Explore more of this cosmic perspective by questioning your assumptions, by learning the science that reveals how nature actually works, by appreciating the privilege of living in a time when we can study interstellar visitors and contemplate our place among the stars. Help spread Sagan's message that science is not just a body of knowledge, but a way of thinking, a way of skeptically interrogating the universe with a fine understanding of human fallibility. Recognize that we are a way for the cosmos to know itself, and that recognition carries profound responsibility. Look again at 3i/Atlas on its journey through our little corner of space. Look again at that dot we call Earth. Consider what Sagan tried to teach us. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Visit, yes. Settle, not yet. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand. That stand, Sagan believed, should be informed by humility, guided by science, and motivated by love for this pale blue dot and all who live upon it. The arrival of 3i/Atlas reminds us that we are part of something vast, ancient, and ongoing. It reminds us to cherish what we have, to preserve what sustains us, and to continue the great adventure of understanding. That is what Sagan would say. That is what the cosmos, through visitors like 3i/Atlas, continues to teach us if we have the wisdom to listen.